What's good, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the What's Good Games podcast, live on Monday, May 25th, 2020. Happy Memorial Day, everybody. I'm Andrea Renee, joined by Miss Brittany Brombacher.
Hello.
How are you doing this holiday Monday, Britt?
Doing good. You know, it does feel like a bit of a holiday. It's a little quiet. People
It
have the right
is.
idea. They took the day off, and we're like, hell no, not us. We're not kind of funny.
No rest for the weary. I like the dig, though.
You like that?
Exactly. It's great. And the reason why we can't possibly take today off is because it's Rihanna Manuel's birthday.
Happy birthday, baby girl. I hope she's twerking around somewhere for me. Do me a little birthday twerk.
I think she's going to be lurking in the chat. I was chatting with her earlier today.
Yeah.
So thank you to everybody who is joining us at twitch.tv/whatsgoodgames. Of course, you can watch What's Good Games live every Monday morning at 11 a.m. Pacific time. And you can download What's Good Games live afterwards on your favorite podcast app. Or, of course, you can check us out at youtube.com/whatsgoodgames. Yeah, let's see all of those Rihanna emotes in the chat on Twitch, celebrating the Queen's birthday. So in honor of her birthday, we're going to be doing a stream starting at 1 p.m. Pacific time today. We've got an idea in mind for a fun virtual game.
We have an idea.
Yes. I'm doing a test with her after we're done shooting the show today. And if it all goes sideways during the test, I'm probably just going to end up streaming Animal Crossing or something. But we hope that it's going to work out.
Our intentions are good.
Yes.
But, you know, technology just sometimes shits the bed and things don't work out the way we want them to. You know, we had no technical issues before we started the show this morning. None.
Oh, yeah. No, everything was perfect. Nothing broke at all.
No, it never does.
It feels like the moment that you have something figured out and you're like, okay, I've got it. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling confident. And then boom, something in the signal chain just decides it doesn't want to work. And there's no rhyme or reason as to why. It just doesn't. But thankfully, we're here streaming live to you guys now. And it seems like everything is going okay. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get started with the show. So Brittany, we don't really have any announcements and housekeeping. It's kind of exciting.
It's weird.
Right?
I'm perusing our calendar and things are going to start getting busy in the coming weeks. But for now, we're just kind of sitting. We're just kind of chilling. You know, it's the calm before the storm, if you will. And you will.
Yes, it is, because next week is when things start to kick off for the kind of air quotes E3 pseudo schedule. And then the next couple of weeks have some really exciting announcements and streams happening. And then it gets a little quiet again at the end of June. And then it picks back up again in July. So lots of things to look forward to, but also lots of time to play video games.
You just want to play Animal Crossing and decorate. Let's be real. That's good, though.
No, I feel like I'm going to hit a wall, though, once I get my island mostly to the place I want to be at, and then I will take a step back. And then I'll, maintain it and then maybe do some fun projects. But right now, I'm like, I have a vision that I'm trying to accomplish, and the 5-item catalog per day limit is crushing my soul. Crushing my soul. I just need so many floor lights for this thing that I'm building. And simple panels that I can customize, and I can only be 5 things a day, and I still want to get more plants. And wouldn't you know it, every time you buy a KK Slider song, that counts as one too. Don't get me started.
What did one Tim Schafer tell us during Gary's Animal Talking?
Yes, so listen, I'm with you. I get that you can't build Rome in a day, and trust me, like terraforming is a process, especially when you make a mistake and then have to fix the mistake. It's like constant. It's like, oh, I built a cliff, wrong spot, tear down the cliff. Oh, I built some water. Oh, wrong spot, fix it. Everybody who's terraforming Animal Crossing knows what I'm talking about. But the problem, though, Britt, is that I wish they just had segmented certain items in the catalog as, oh, hey, you can buy kind of as many of these as you can afford with your bells. And then these other items are like, okay, you can only get X amount of those a day because you don't want people buying like 10 grand pianos in a day. But then again, why not? Let them.
Why not?
If they've got the bells.
It's your life. So can you give us a little hint as to what this vision is that you have, or are you saving it for some grand reveal?
Well, I don't know. If I'm going to stream, I guess it won't be a grand reveal. So I'm building like a beach bar club situation.
Okay.
Which is pretty fun. And I also have a pizza /coffee/wine bar that I'm building as well. And I'm trying to build like a wrestling arena.
Okay. Hold on. What?
So I've got a lot of things happening.
I understand, like the beach, wine bar, the coffee stand, and then all of a sudden there's a fucking wrestling arena. Are you trying to tell me something? Are you gonna join the wrestling world?
No. I have no desire. I just am trying to think. I wanted to do like a basketball court, and then all of the court designs take up way too many custom slots. So I was like, I'm abandoning the basketball court. But the wrestling stuff, I could do pretty easily just with objects, and not have to do too many custom designs. Because the redesign I'm doing on my house is like, I'm very excited about it too. Oh, I spent hours downloading custom codes over the weekend, you guys.
Have you ever tried one of those Have you ever tried one of those custom home decorator games? I don't even know what they are necessarily. It's like something you would find published by HGTV or something, right? It's those games where you buy homes and you decorate the inside of them and then you live your best life.
Yeah, somebody was telling me about one of these games, and I think the reason why I maybe haven't tried those is because what I like about decorating in Animal Crossing is that so much of it feels inspired by the creativeness of the community and not by the video game designer. I really do enjoy some of the designs that you can get just from, the Able Sisters shop and some of the stuff that you can get from the store. But almost all of my favorite designs are custom made from the community. And thank you to everybody on Reddit, whoever you are out there, who's put all of their creator codes into the universe. Because I've got really inspired that I want to go make some custom codes of my own now that I've seen enough patterns that I feel a little bit more competent in it. But again, that just takes time. So
if you ever need any skill training in art, I'm your girl.
Oh.
Just letting you know.
Oh, great. So you are familiar with how to do pixel art specifically, because that's all of Animal Crossing designs are pixel art.
All I'm saying is once you've mastered the art form that is Microsoft Paint, Andrea, you can tackle anything, anywhere.
Okay.
And I'm honestly quite offended that you didn't even think about this. But it's okay.
I mean, listen, you've had Animal Crossing much longer than I have. Yeah. I should be offended that you don't have ready-made designs that I can download right now.
An artist is pulled in many different directions, and I didn't have all of the capacity.
Is that direction called Yakuza?
Yeah, it is actually.
You're like, listen, I've been busy. Okay, enough about Animal Crossing. Sorry to get so.
It's a slow news day anyway.
Yeah, it's true, but we do have quite a few questions. And thank you to everybody in the chat who is talking about Animal Crossing and their designs. And if you did not know that you can download custom designs in Animal Crossing, you are missing out on a world of amazingness. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the news. First story, Valorant is launching on June 2nd with their closed beta ending next week. So this story comes from Polygon. After more than a month of closed beta testing, Riot Games' new free-to-play tactical shooter Valorant will be released on June 2nd, the company announced. On that date, people across the majority of regions worldwide will be able to download the game for free from its website, Riot said. Valorant's closed beta will end 5 days earlier on May 28th, so that's this week. The entire game will then go offline for maintenance as Riot prepares for launch. While many people have had the chance to play the game during the closed beta, all progress for every player will be reset when the game is actually released. Along with the release date announcement, executive producer Anna Dolan and the game director Joe Ziegler shared some of Riot's post-launch plans for Valorant. Among them are a new game mode, a new character, and a new map. All these elements are set to be released shortly after the June 2nd launch, Riot said. Along with the new content, Riot plans to add Valorant servers in cities around the world, including Atlanta, Dallas, London, Madrid, Warsaw, and more, in order to give players access to low-latency matches. So, Brittany, I know that, FPS shooters on PC, definitely not really your thing. From my limited experience with Valorant, had a good time. It definitely is a very difficult game, and I don't know if I'm going to continue to play because I have to get good with mouse and keyboard. If they are going to add controller support post-launch, I would love that, and I don't need to hear the very lengthy discussion about how mouse and keyboard is superior to controller. I'm well aware of that. I'm just not good with mouse and keyboard, so I am better, even at a disadvantage, with a controller than a mouse and keyboard. So
yeah, it's I'm very very excited for all of those who are excited about Valorant. This is a very, very exciting time to be a gamer. That's all I got. This does nothing for me. If I had a skirt and the term is blow my skirt up. This isn't even like a puff of air from like a kitten. This does nothing. My skirt does not move. But it's going to be interesting to see how this Valorant takes off. People tend to describe it, and you've played it, so Overwatch and Counter-Strike. To me, and you said it's a difficult game. To me, I'm good. I'm going to keep walking down my Yakuza path of life.
Yeah, no, what I think is great about this is that they were in closed beta for a relatively short amount of time, which is awesome because it means that they either did a lot of work before they went into closed beta, or they had just enough people that they were able to get really, I was going to say efficient, but that's not the word I'm looking for. Very valuable feedback from the people that were in the beta, so they feel better, kind of putting it out into the world for everybody to play. So enjoy. You can all play Valorant next week. All right, next up, Borderlands 3's next expansion takes fans to the Old West. So we haven't really talked about Borderlands in quite some time, but they've been quietly releasing DLC. Gearbox has always been pretty good about supporting that game and that franchise post-launch. On the Gearbox's Borderlands show that they announced, Bounty of Blood, A Fistful of Redemption is the name of the third major expansion. It's set on the desert planet of Gehenna, and players will hunt down a dastardly gang called the Devil Riders and discover new rewards. Gearbox and 2K are going to launch Borderlands 3 Bounty of Blood on June 25th.
Can you read the rest of the story in a Western accent, like a twang?
Well, I wasn't going to read the whole thing, but I can read a little bit of it. So a Western accent. No, because I immediately thought of my pirate accent from Later Daters, and I was like,
perfect.
I was like, no, that's not the right accent. I don't really want to spend too much time going into all these details. Essentially, you're going to get a new mount. There's going to be new guns and a bunch of new stuff. If you guys want to learn all of the details about this Western themed expansion, of course, you can go to the Borderlands 3 website. Or you go watch the Borderlands show, which I believe is on their YouTube channel, and they detail all of it. Brittany, how do you feel about Pac-Man?
And when I think about Pac-Man, I think of that little trick where you stick your finger like on your ear and you wiggle it, and it sounds like Pac-Man. Have you ever done that?
What?
Oh, I'm gonna show you a world. Like, that's not Aladdin. Anyway, the point being is, if you take your finger and you stick it on that little flap that covers your ear hole, and you wiggle it,
yeah,
it goes, it sounds like Pac-Man.
I want to know, people in the chat right now are
chat
like,
says, dang, she's right. Thank you, the Batwinkle. I appreciate you.
That's hilarious. Okay, well, when I'm not wearing headphones, I'll try it and I'll report back.
Look at chat. Thank you. You have validated me in my existence. Okay. Love y'all.
That's hilarious. Well, Brittany, Pac-Man turned 40 on Friday, so happy belated birthday. Did you know that you and Pac-Man share a very similar birthday? Just one day.
I did not, but it is truly an honor. I think about Pac-Man and my first experience with Pac-Man. It was a board game. And it had tons of little white marbles on it. And you would stick the white marbles in all like these pre-created holes in this board. And then you would roll your dice, and then you could like get your moves on. And that's how you would play the game. I didn't really play a lot of Pac-Man in the arcade, actually.
What? Oh, I was a diehard Ms. Pac-Man girl.
Yeah, I was all about that Gauntlet life.
Oh, Gauntlet is great too. There just weren't that many arcades in my hometown that had Gauntlet. I think there was like one maybe. And Ms. Pac-Man was ubiquitous. Like, she was everywhere. That girl gets around. But we're not talking about Ms. Pac-Man specifically. Pac-Man turned 40 on Friday on May 22nd, 1980. Pac-Man immediately rose to meteoric popularity. First in video game arcades. This, of course, is from Bandai Namco, by the way. Then on the pop culture stage with the hit song Pac-Man Fever. And through an array of brand and entertainment appearances throughout the 80s and 90s, with a brand recognition rate of 90% around the world, Pac-Man's image and brand continues to be one of the most recognized on the planet. While Pac-Man has transcended into the world of entertainment, his heart still resides in video games. As part of his 40th birthday celebration, Pac-Man will be making special appearances in Minecraft DLC, enabling players to enjoy Pac-Man mazes within the game starting today, which was last Friday. Pac-Man Live Studio is coming to the Twitch game platform in partnership with Amazon Games, which will enable 4 players to compete in one maze in an all-out chomp fest to see who will eat the most pellets and survive the stage. I feel like we have to try this, Brittany.
Yeah.
Players will be able to create their own Pac-Man mazes and share them with friends online, or play the classic Pac-Man game if they so choose. Very exciting.
What is Pac-Man? Have we ever learned what Pac-Man actually is? Like, what is its molecular like, what is it made of?
like what is it as a being?
Yeah, as an entity. What is it? Because I Googled it while you're talking, and Pac-Man is honestly quite terrifying. It's just this circular, smooth, surfy, circle, little half pizza looking thing, and it has like a random black eye for a dot. And I'm like, how does that work? I don't think that's how anatomy works. You know what I mean? I don't get it.
I mean, Batwinkle has a great question. Does Pac-Man have a butt, or is he all butt?
Okay, wait.
Your deep thoughts for the day.
Because when Pac-Man eats, where does it go? So how could it be a butt? Because if it's a butt, like, it has to leave, right? I don't know.
Not necessarily. Think about Kirby.
Oh,
Kirby
God.
and Pac-Man probably share a lot of molecular similarities.
What if they're like cousins? I feel like Kirby and Pac-Man are probably cousins. But at least Kirby has feet and arms and a mouth and like eye. Well, I guess Pac-Man has a mouth and eyes too, but
yeah, exactly.
it makes more sense. But Pac-Man just moves. It just glides. Pac-Man's a fucking alien. There we go.
Yes, he is. So there's a lot of things that Bandai Namco is celebrating for Pac-Man's 40th birthday. Something that I thought was pretty neat was a partnership they're doing with NVIDIA. Pac-Man is the subject of an advanced AI research being conducted by NVIDIA, trained on 50,000 episodes of the game, and powerful new AI mode created by NVIDIA Research called GameGAN can generate a fully functional version of Pac-Man without an underlying game engine. This means that even without understanding the game's fundamental rules, AI can recreate the game with convincing results. Our computer overlords will be here soon.
Oh, God, that's terrifying. Oh, we're all fucked.
Oh, yes, indeed. But congratulations, Pac-Man, on turning 40, one of the all-time best games ever created. Shout out to Pac-Man Championship Edition. If you guys never played it, super fun.
Game Manual says his name comes from Paku Paku, which means to gobble up something.
Yeah.
Oh, they did give Pac-Man limbs in Smash Bros. You're right, Alan. Press start.
Well, yeah, and there's a lot of like Pac-Man cartoon things, and there's a lot of Pac-Man where Pac-Man is more humanoid, but still very weird.
I still have concerns.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame you for having concerns.
Actual news coming up, Andrea, to talk about.
Do you want to read this one?
I would love to. Final Fantasy VII Remake is April 2020's best-selling game. Sets franchise record. This comes from IGN. Final Fantasy VII Remake was April 2020's best-selling game, and it also set a new launch month Final Fantasy franchise sales record in both unit and dollar sales, surpassing 2016's Final Fantasy 15. As revealed by Matt Piscatella of the NPD Group, Final Fantasy VII Remake led April 2020 sales, followed by Call of Duty Modern Warfare and Animal Crossing New Horizons. April 2020 tracked spending across video game hardware, software, accessories, and game cards reached $1.5 billion, a 73% increase when compared to April 2019. This is also a new record for an April month, a milestone that was previously set by April 2008's $1.2 billion. Dollar sales for tracked video game software also set a new record for an April month at $662 million, a 55% increase year over year and the highest since April 2008's $642 million. Switch also has the highest year-to-date dollar sales of any hardware platform in U.S. history, a record that was previously held by Nintendo Wii in the same year-to-date period in April 2009.
Look at that. Turns out people are playing video games.
I went back. Wow, who'd have thought? I went back and I was like, what made April 2008 such a special year for video games? So, Andrew, take yourself back to April 2008. Where were you? Do you remember?
April 2008, I was here in Los Angeles. I was struggling to get enough hours bartending because that's really when the Great Recession was just really getting ramped up. And I was playing a crap ton of Rock Band and Guitar Hero, like a metric crap ton of it.
Preparing to meet your future husband.
Exactly.
Yeah. April 2008, I was 20 years old. I was working full-time for Department of Corrections. I was getting ready to move to near University of Washington to be closer to my now ex-boyfriend. So now that we're all settled back, this is what happened in 2008 of April. Mario Kart Wii launched, which was actually, Mario Kart Wii launched, and they sold 1.12 million that month. The big one, Grand Theft Auto 4 launched for PS3, Xbox 360.
Yes.
But the funny thing is, they only had 5 days in that month, but they still managed to move 2.8 million units.
Not surprising.
Yeah. Gran Turismo Prologue released in the middle of April. sold 224,000. Smash Brothers Brawl had released the month prior, but they're still riding on that high train. And then when it came to hardware, the Wii sold 714,000 units that month. Nintendo DS sold 414,000, and the PSP sold 192,000.
Oh, the PSP. Wow. So that is fantastic. Yeah, that was before my very first E3.
Wow. Yeah, that year it was in Santa Monica. I was looking at Wikipedia. They have some fun. They're like, what was life like back for the video game industry? And that was the year also that Blizzard announced Diablo 3 in Paris.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy to think that the Diablo 3 announcement was that long ago.
Yeah, it was June 28th, 2008.
Wow.
Crazy. I know.
Ah, memories.
I know. So that's why that was such a... As soon as I saw Grand Theft Auto, I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting tracking how sales do from here on out, knowing that the release dates are a little bit offset what they normally would be. Like, so Naughty Dog has a history of releasing games in June, so that's going to be no surprise. But July, getting, Ghosts of Tsushima in July, I think it will be interesting. I think we're definitely going to see a spike in July numbers because of that. But also because people traditionally are going on vacation, doing outdoor activities, and there's going to be a lot less of that this year. So I imagine summer sales are going to be probably the highest they've ever been, would be my guess.
You're one of those fools that are going to a packed-ass beach and a packed-ass pool swimming in tons of urine, which I saw lots of videos of that over the weekend. Don't do that, kids.
Swimming in pools with urine? Yeah, that sounds gross.
Yeah, it would be really gross.
Well, congrats, Square Enix and Final Fantasy. That game was excellent.
Yeah, you did real good. You did the thing.
I think about that game from time to time and go, oh, hey, I remember that was a magical time for me when I played that game. Am I gonna go back? No, probably not.
Oh yeah, no, there's no need at this point unless we get some like really cool mods. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, Summer Game Fest announces Day of the Devs partnership with 2 more events. So PC Gamer wrote this up, but they did send out a press release last week. Day of the Devs, for people who don't know, is an annual festival hosted by Double Fine Studios and I Am 8-Bit. It's free and open to all, and it traditionally happens during GDC in San Francisco, but no GDC means no Day of the Devs. Obviously, that's not going to happen this year, as I just mentioned. Though the first of the newly announced showcases is going to take place on June 22nd, while the second will happen on July 20th, with news, gameplay demonstrations, and video game musical performances promised for each. Ooh. Confirmed participants include Akupara Games, Annapurna Interactive, The Behemoth, Finji, Kowloon Knights, Longhand Electric, MWM Interactive, Panic, Sabotage Studio, Skybound Games, Teen 17, That Game Company, Tribute Games, and Us 2 Games and more will be announced with a proper schedule as the show gets closer. So this is interesting, Britt, because I feel like we have several competing indie showcases now, and it's really going to split the consumer's attention when so many different indie showcases are happening, especially if certain devs are showcasing in multiple of those indie showcases. It's like, are they going to show different videos or different trailers in each of them, or are they just going to re-show the same thing?
Yeah, this has been the interesting topic of conversation when it comes to this, is we have all, and I have the list of what's confirmed right in front of me. We can go over that in a second, of where do you show your game and at what showcase and why? Because like you said, we have Day of the Devs, and then we also have the Guerrilla Collective, which starts next week, which is primarily, I believe, indie focused. And then you're going to see Larry in there and whatnot. So, I mean, this is all new. The industry is kind of like trying to figure it out. And granted, I think, it's pivoting really well, considering how everything just kind of got thrown to shit very like in the 11th hour here. So we'll see. How is it all going to work out, man? I don't know. But I think, Andrea, with all of these events, we have enough that we can do our 8-ball prediction show.
Yes, we were talking about making sure to bring this back in some way, shape, or form. So if you guys have been following What's Good Games since the beginning, we have done an E3 predictions from an 8-ball, Magic 8-ball episode. And we're like, how are we going to do that this year? And so we're figuring out how we're going to run it. But I think we have a game plan set for that episode.
So we have, just as a reminder, June 6th, the Guerrilla Collective Day 1, Guerrilla Collective Day 2 is the day after, June 8th. It's the Upload VR Showcase. 6/11, we got Cyberpunk. We also have EA Play Live. 6/22, Day of the Devs. 6:23 New Game Plus, Expo, that's the thing with Sega, Natsumi, Koei Tecmo. 7:12 Ubisoft, 7:20 Day of the Devs, 8:27 Gamescom opening night live, and then we still have to hear something from PlayStation at some point. When's that going to happen? And what the hell is Nintendo doing? Are they just going to continue to do their random Thursday announcements, which is like, that's probably what they will end up doing. So yeah, I think we have enough that we can start making those crazy ass predictions. I'm excited.
Yes, I'm ready.
Summer of things, and also we're going to be streaming as many of these as we can. So watch us.
Again, if you don't have those notifications turned on for twitch.tv/whatsgoodgames, now is the time to do so. Also, if you haven't hit that follow button, you could do that too.
Yes.
All right, in case you missed it, Gary Whitta disclosed to Brittany and I under very stringent secrecy that Sting would be appearing in Animal Talking, and now it's publicly announced that both Sting and Shaggy, of all people, are debuting new music. They both are debuting new music on Animal Talking. I was like, Gary, what the heck is even happening with this show?
Shaggy, oh my God, and Sting, that's a duo, man, right there. They're not doing shit together, but
correct. I'm definitely going to be interested to hear what Shaggy's new music is going to be.
Has he put out any music? I think of Shaggy, I think of Angel, and It Wasn't Me, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like those are the two.
Yeah,
he's got a couple other ones, and he's guested on some tracks, but it's not like I'm usually waiting with bated breath for what Shaggy's doing. But if it's in Gary's Animal Talking, you've got my attention now. On Naughty Dog's Twitter account, they announced that this Wednesday they're going to be sharing another glimpse into The Last of Us Part 2 with an all-new extended gameplay sequence on State of Play. Don't miss it. Ooh.
Yeah, so it's going to be about 20 minutes long. They've already said don't expect any PS5 news, obviously, but I feel like that's a disclaimer that everyone's kind of learned. You got to throw out there whenever you announce anything like this. I don't want to watch it.
I feel like we're so close to launch now, just a few weeks out. That's like, I've already seen, an extended portion of the game. I don't know if that's what they're going to show. Maybe it is what they're planning to show. The thing that I played at the preview event, which seems like a lifetime ago now, which was last year. But yeah, I'm not sure. Not sure what's happening there.
Yeah, I'm good. And I mean, did you see also, speaking of Naughty Dog, that they're using Twitter's new feature where you can dictate who responds or who can respond to your tweets. They're doing that now with their Last of Us tweets because they don't want people posting spoilers in their replies.
That's really smart of them. Yeah, because there's terrible people out there.
Oh yeah, I haven't read a single comment or anything posted from Naughty Dog The Last of Us because I already had like a pretty big thing spoiled for me for the game, but that doesn't mean the rest of it needs to get spoiled. But I think it's cool that they're using that feature.
Exactly, and. We already talked about the Wholesome Games thing when we were running down all of the things you could watch. Did you not mention that in your list?
I did not.
Oh, I thought you did. Well,
no.
Please mention it now.
I will. So Wholesome Games, this is on their Twitter or YouTube I pulled it from. Anyway, join Wholesome Games on May 26th at 1 p.m. Eastern for the first ever Wholesome Direct hosted live on YouTube. We'll be showing exclusive footage, developer interviews, and announcements from over 50 cute and cozy indie games. You can follow them on twitter.com/_Wholesome Games, and they have a Discord community at discord.gg/HCF37P. Anywho, I think this is a really, really cute thing. I'm happy this is happening. We need more content like this in our lives.
50 is a lot, though. That's a lot of games to do in a single announcement. Like, I feel like you got to edit some of that, and it's hard to make those decisions about which games get included and which don't. But if you overload people, then people just lose attention, and then they're like, okay, I stopped paying attention after game number like 15. And it's like, okay, done. Like, I love what my friends at Kind of Funny are doing with the Kind of Funny Games Showcase, and now obviously the evolution of that. But I thought that it was really tough for me to keep track of all of the games because there was just so many of them in the first one that they did. So it'll be interesting to see how they change that up for the new thing that they're working on this year. Anyway, but yeah, more indie games is better for everybody.
All that juice says Britt has a Carol Baskin vibe going on. All that juice, get the fuck out of here.
What? You kind of do, but I love it.
Is it the shirt? This isn't a tiger.
No, it's leopard. It's leopard. Still a big cat, though. Right. Yeah, and her thing is big cat rescue, so.
Well, yeah, I got nothing.
Yeah. All right. That's going to do it for the news for this week. We've got several questions that you guys submitted. Don't forget, you can always submit your questions to whatsgoodgames.com/Dear WGG if you can't join us live on twitch.tv/whatsgoodgames. And several of you did. So the first one is from Megan, who says, "What's good, ladies? Happy Memorial Day to you and to any American listeners. While being Canadian myself, I have a great amount of respect for anyone who fights for their country." Amen to that. A big topic right now is next gen, and with that has come a lot of criticisms for both PS4 and Xbox One. That's the current Xbox, right? Question mark. Yes, it is. Approach to marketing by influencers, such as KF, Funhouse, and even WGG. So I'm wondering, is there such a thing as a perfect approach to launch, and what, in your opinion, would that look like for either console? Thanks as always, ladies. Hope you're taking time this long weekend to rest and recover from your anniversary stream. Thanks, Megan. We are. Before we answer, I think that we can both confidently say there is no such thing as a perfect approach to launch. There just never is. But I think what we have criticized here on this show specifically in relationship to Xbox is the first one I thought of, was just a mismanagement of expectations about what people can see from the marketing materials you're putting together. And I don't need to like regurgitate everything about what they did wrong.
Hate that word.
Right? To me, the way that they could potentially optimize it or make it more exciting for fans and not maybe deal with some of the blowback is to just set a very clear expectation for when we're going to get looks at specific times of the marketing cycle. Like tell us, hey, on this day, we're going to reveal what it looks like. On this day, we're going to reveal the new controller. We're going to reveal the price. We're going to reveal specs. Like if they did like a timeline like that, not too dissimilar to how some developers detail their roadmap for DLC seasons for live service games, to be like, hey, in this period, we're going to talk about this. In this period, we're going to talk about this. I think that would be awesome because then it sets expectations for when people can get information. And then they can make some of their purchase decisions around that. Because if you wait until too long to announce the hardware specs, like Steimer mentioned, she's like, I just need to know how big the PS5 is so I can buy the right entertainment center. Or how much the price is so that people can financially plan if they want to buy a new console. I think that would be really helpful to consumers. But I honestly don't know how realistic that is from a merchandising standpoint. I've never created a console and shipped it around the world. But if we're just doing pie in the sky requests, that would be my request.
But it's fine. No, I'm with you. I think, when we're excited about the new consoles, the new generation, I think what gets us excited is from a very like blanket level, how pretty is it going to look and what games can I play on it? I think that's mostly what people are very excited about. So when you start kind of trickling out info, I think about PlayStation, for example, like that Mark Cerny. I mean, I'm sure if you're a smart human, I'm sure that was like, oh my God, porn for you. But I'm just looking. I think the only thing I remember out of the whole thing was something about 3D audio and ear molds, which is kind of odd and weird. But you keep it simple. And I think in a level that most people can understand, like Andrea was saying, almost give a roadmap. Okay, think about a basic presentation. Here's the console. Here's what it looks like. These are the launch games for it. This is. And also, I'm going all over the place, but go back to last May when it was that PlayStation 5 Spider-Man demo, right? Remember that? I don't even know if that was supposed to leak or if that was a leak or whatnot.
It was a leak, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that's the kind of shit that I think gets people excited. Like, look at what Spider-Man looks like on a PS4 as opposed to on a PS5. That's the kind of stuff that I think gets people excited and gets people hyped, and that's the stuff that people really care about. And of course, you're going to have your market of like nerds who know all the tech specs and appreciate all of that mumbo jumbo. But I think when it comes down to it, to build hype, we just want games. How pretty is it going to be? What's the price going to look like? And then we're set. We're simple folks.
Yeah, I'm with you 100% that the hype is there for that kind of leak. But the problem with them releasing something like that as like an official asset is that you're going to get that segment of consumers who don't understand that it's not a real game, that it's just a tech demo that was built specifically to show off the hardware. And that's why behind closed door demos are a thing that you do at E3, because you're playing to a very knowledgeable small audience that knows that the thing you're showing them is not the way the final retail product is going to look. And that kind of a message is much more difficult to disseminate across millions of people around the world. And that's the tough part, because I'm with you that like it was a get hype moment watching this PS4 game run at lightning speed on PS5 architecture. But it's like, how can they recreate that in a way that feels that they're being completely honest with consumers and not showcasing them like a possibility of what the system can do instead of a promise what the system can do. Does that make sense?
Screen, yeah, in front of an audience, and you say, listen here, motherfuckers. Don't take any of my words out of context. This is just a pure example as to what this could do.
Oh, you have faith in people, Brittany, in a way that I like.
Thanks. You know, one of us has to. It's not serious. Yeah, I mean, that's... Oh, thank you, Danny Jackson, for the sub gifts, the tier 1 sub gifts in chat.
That's very kind, Danny.
I don't know why I said your name like that. I'm so sorry.
But we do call out subs at the end of the show. If you guys have been subbing throughout the show, we don't generally do that. But Danny coming in over the top. But yeah, Brittany, I love that you have faith in humanity. But I really don't have as much.
Sometimes I do. And today I feel like you gotta like give them a little bit of leeway. Be like, all right, we're gonna test our boundaries here. I'm gonna say something's black, and then you come back and say it's white. Then you're stupid. That's all I'm getting at. You know,
or you're just trolling, and then we have no time of day for you.
It's true.
All right, next question is from Rafael Costa. Hey girls, hope you had an amazing weekend with the recent news of an Iron Man VR bundle. Do you think it is the right time to get a PSVR? Which VR headset is your favorite? I'm thinking of getting a VR headset, but I don't know if I should get a PSVR or an Oculus Quest. Thanks for making Mondays great. Keep up the amazing work. Love from Portugal. Oh, thanks, Rafael. So both Brittany and I have several of the VR headsets and have tried all of them out, either at demos or preview events or just because we have them now in our homes. Britt, which of the VR headsets do you find yourself playing the most, with the caveat that neither of us are really big into VR, that we play it really sporadically?
Say the Oculus Quest, because of the convenience of it, right? You just slap it on your head and you're off to the races. And even though I have a PlayStation VR set up, and it's set up in a way that all I need to do is push a little button, it just, for some reason, the thought of being strapped in and having the cords and having to be confined to one area, and it's heavier, it just doesn't sit as well. It doesn't sound as exciting, I guess. And although I will say, I think the experiences, not necessarily all of them, but some of them you find on a PSVR, obviously they can handle more power. You know, you can have some of those more like the Walking Dead Saints and Sinners experience and some of the other VR games as well. But I just, for the pure convenience of it all, I love VR because I like the feeling of escapism and just, it's really neat just to be able to look or walk around. You know, I'm not looking for a super duper in-depth game experience from that, but just the idea of experiencing the tech. So for that reason, I would say Quest.
I am with you on the portability of the Quest. I really love being free from the cables, but the PSVR to me is far more comfortable as a headset, and it doesn't leave a giant VR imprint on my face when I'm done playing. And for that reason, I find myself playing more in PSVR because it's more comfortable. And the game catalog is not too dissimilar. Almost anything that releases on Oculus Quest you can get on PSVR, but there are some PSVR exclusives that Sony has locked up, like this Iron Man game, right? But the problem is that most people who make games for VR have such a limited install base to begin with that they can't do exclusivity unless somebody's footing the bill for everything. And that's why you tend to not see too many exclusive games that are just on one VR platform. But I think now is a great time to get into VR. The library is extensive. There are a ton of great games to play. PSVR is certainly the more affordable option if you already own a PlayStation. Oculus Quest is also like around the same price, I believe. I think they're both $399 right now, but you may be able to find a PSVR on sale easier than Oculus Quest, because last I heard, like, the stock of Oculus Quest was really low and they were difficult to get. So a lot of things for you to consider if cost is an issue, or if you prefer the portability of Quest, knowing that you're sacrificing some of the graphics power that you would get with a wired system, whether it be a Rift or a Vive or a PSVR of your choice. But I mean, check out the catalogs first, because first and foremost, you want to play games that are fun on any system. We talk about this with the console launches all the time. It's like, are there games that you want to play? And hopefully you find some good ones.
Yeah. And if you aren't like, oh my God, if cost isn't so much an issue, and you're planning on getting a PS5. I don't know when this PSVR 2 is supposed to be coming. I'm trying to like look up some info on it right now, but you know, if it's something that you're not like, I don't need this right now, but maybe down the line you might want to look into that too. Because I mean, I don't know how far off that's going to be.
Next question is from Alan Martinez. Hey, ladies, do you have certain games you play while listening to podcasts or music? Sometimes I feel bad for all the hard work the audio people put into their games. Am I overthinking it? You're not overthinking it. It's very common for people to listen to music playlists while playing games, particularly live service games that you have to do a lot of grinding in. Like if you have like a daily mission you have to do or weekly missions you have to do. But I never listen to music while playing games. Like literally never.
No, I was really surprised when we launched What's Good. We got a lot of people who said they listened to our show while they played games. And I mean, props to you. I don't know how you do it. I couldn't. I would get way too distracted. I wouldn't know what I'm doing or why I'm doing it. All the dialogue, I would just be skimming it and it wouldn't register. But yeah, this is really common. Actually, Danny from Gamertag Radio posted that I think you can listen to Spotify while playing games through the Xbox app.
Yeah. I mean, you can do that. You can do that with PS4 as well.
Oh, I didn't know that shit. That's kind of cool. So yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. And also like there's like a Discord integration too where you can listen to music. And so you don't have to feel bad about it because here's the thing. There are millions of people who buy games and there's definitely lots of people listening and appreciating the audio. Like Brittany and I have been spending so much time in Animal Crossing that I was like, should I be listening to music? Because the Animal Crossing music is very soothing but incredibly repetitive. But then I feel like I would miss all the little sound effects. Like if I'm doing some late night construction work and there's a shooting star, like happened to me last night, I would have missed the shooting star sound if I wasn't listening to the music. And then I wouldn't have gotten my star bits this morning.
That would have been really sad.
Yeah.
I would have been really upset. But as far as feeling bad for all the hard work the audio people put into their games, yeah, like I think you're overthinking it. Don't sweat it. I can't speak for everyone who makes games, but I think if people make game in any capacity, it's to create an experience for consumers to enjoy themselves and lose themselves in. And if that means that you play their game while listening to their music, cool. Maybe you listen to Metallica or death metal while playing Animal Crossing. Maybe that's Andrea's new thing. I don't know.
If only I actually listened to death metal, which I do not. It's just not for me. But Brittany loves it.
I love
it. Next question is from Jay Mahue. When video games aren't hitting the spot exactly, what hobby do you turn to other than wine and whiskey?
Oh, God,
if drinking could be a hobby. This is always a hard question for me, and I think Britt and I share the same kind of philosophy here that we both play a lot of games a lot of the time, and I don't generally get sick of playing games. There has been a couple of periods of my life over the last few years where I've just been under a lot of mental duress, and the idea of actively playing something was not in the cards for me. So generally then I turn to TV or movies. I have a new quarantine hobby that I've been really getting into where I do what I call cart shopping, meaning I go online and I do a bunch of shopping and I build carts and then I just never buy anything.
Okay, hold up. What?
Yeah, so I will get emails like everybody does about marketing, like sales and whatnot. Yeah. And so I'll be like, ooh, clothing store I like. And I go and I browse around and I shop and I build a cart and then I never actually hit purchase. Or I'll put like a lot of like interior decorating things I want to do in the house together in a cart. And I'm like, ooh, someday. But I just never buy anything because I'm trying to limit my spending like a lot of people are right now. But I still enjoy the act of shopping, and I can't go to a store and shop. Because I was talking about this with some ladies over the weekend about how I desperately miss like in-store shopping. Like I love stores like Home Goods, TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Ross. I love like going through all the aisles and finding good deals and like picking up stuff and looking at it. And I miss shopping so much. So cart shopping is my new hobby.
Window shopping, but online.
Kind of, yeah.
Oh, okay. Is it kind of like a Pinterest board?
I love making Pinterest boards too.
Okay.
But But no, because I actually like go through the whole process of like picking out the exact thing I want and then putting it into a cart and then just never hitting the purchase button.
Now, have you ever gone back and actually purchased your cart?
Sometimes I'll go back and purchase like one or two specific items because, I usually log in because listen, you guys got to get that honey gold. I know honey's not a sponsor on today's episode, but that honey gold is like chef's kiss. So I'm always logged in, so it tracks all of what I'm looking at. So my ads across all of the gaming sites where we pull news from are very specific to what I'm looking for. Thanks, cookies. But yeah, no, sometimes I do. What about you, Britt?
I would say, and I keep talking about this, but I think Japanese just really works my brain in a way that I need right now. It stimulates my brain. The fact that I'm learning and I walk away from taking my hours, so lessons a day, feeling kind of tired, but in a good way. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm like, it's working a muscle, but your brain isn't a muscle. It's just a lump of gross flesh. But that's what I feel like. I feel like I'm working it, and it just relaxes me. And that's kind of been my go-to. And like, apparently drinking whiskey isn't a hobby. Well, fuck you, Jay McCrooey. That's your opinion. Other than that, though, during these times, yeah, I would say it's, I've talked about puzzles. I've been doing puzzles lately. Those are fun. Like just actual, like take a piece of cardboard and like puzzle shit.
I used to be really big into puzzles. It was something we always did at my grandparents' house when I was a kid, and I don't own a single puzzle as an adult, which is kind of tragic now that I think about it. But I don't know. I think I've lost some of the magic of putting the puzzle together and then taking it apart and putting it back in the box. Only to have to put it together again, because I'm not one of those people that like lacquers it down and then like mount it somewhere in your house or whatever.
Yeah, my parents got a puzzle for me, and this is the one I was doing at their house, and it's just like a compilation photo of all of these old school video game things. So there's a Super Nintendo there, an N64, a Saturn, old school NES games, and so that was the puzzle that we had all been working on for a while. So they actually did glue it together, and then they are putting it in a frame, and then I'm going to hang it here in my office somewhere. But stuff like that is fun. I've been doing that. And if we weren't in the middle of a pandemic, I would say traveling scratches an itch. It's my second biggest hobby other than games, but clearly that ain't happening anytime soon. So doubling down on that whiskey drinking hobby and that Japanese hobby.
Yeah. A fun thing for us to talk about on a future show that I just thought of a topic is, what would you have done knowing the pandemic was coming? What would you have gotten out of your system or gone to go do if you had known that like we were going to be sheltering in place for essentially the rest of the year?
Dude, that'd be a good topic. Yeah, I'm into it.
Yeah. The Batwinkle says my hobby is sleep. I just can't sleep. I wish I enjoyed sleep more. I just don't sleep very much. All right. So let's see here. Brittany, do you want to pick one of these best from the rest? I'm looking at maybe this one.
Or are you in the actual doc?
Oh yeah, you want me to put them in the show notes?
Yes, please. Yeah, scroll feeble like that, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, actually, here, I think this one will be good. Scott says this will be a good one to end on. In a couple of weeks, CDPR, CD Projekt Red that is doing a Cyberpunk 2077 event. In my opinion, the hype for this game is the highest I have seen since Bethesda revealing Fallout 4 at E3. Is it possible for CDPR to create something that will live up to the hype? Are people going to be disappointed if it's just a video game? I hope that makes sense. I am with you that the hype is off the charts for Cyberpunk. And I honestly have faith that they can potentially deliver on the hype based off what we've seen from them with the Witcher franchise, and also what Brittany and I have seen from them in their behind closed door presentations. Not only what we've seen from CD Projekt Red for Cyberpunk 27, but their other games as well. So I think that if they had made like a 45-minute demo that they were planning to show behind closed doors at E3 this year, which we can imagine based off the one we saw last year would probably be pretty fantastic looking.
Yeah.
And they're instead going to do that live on stream. I think this will be absolutely phenomenal. And I really hope that that's their plan.
I understand where you're coming from. What was Scott? Was that the name?
Scott, yeah.
Scolte. I get it. But I feel like Andrea was saying, if a developer can pull this off, I think it's CD Projekt Red. We've seen what they've accomplished with their other, The Witcher 3. I mean, huge. And I understand how, I think if this was any other developer, I mean, I think like Sony Santa Monica and like Naughty Dog were up there, and where the games where what they're going to deliver is going to be bombdiggity.com.
Yeah.
Like if this is anyone else making the claims that they are, I could see the apprehension. I can see why you would be a little hesitant, but I think they can deliver, and I think they will deliver. I don't think this is going to be just a game, and it's just a feeling. You just get those feelings. You're like, yeah, fucking rock it.
I think that it looks so exciting and interesting. And the thing that a lot of consumers don't know is that as a company, CD Projekt Red really has a philosophy, at least the last time I have worked with them, and really all the times I've worked with them, of saying we're going to do a thing right the way we want to, and we're not going to be beholden to any artificial deadlines or be pressured into making a decision we don't want to make. And they have really stuck to their guns on that and saying we're not going to let anybody else dictate our vision for us. And I have a lot of respect for them. They also are in a great situation that they can do that because of all the work that they put into the Witcher franchise, and not just the Witcher 3, by the way, that starting with the original Witcher game to where they are now, all of that kind of blood, sweat, and tears that they had to do building that game, because despite the fact that the Witcher 3 is constantly praised for being a fantastic game, which it is, it didn't really make them like a crap ton of money. They gave so much of their DLC away at reduced rates compared to how much it cost them to make that they were absolutely profitable. And they really actually revealed some financial data this week or last week, but it wasn't to the scale that you see other companies being profitable, because they didn't use really egregious business practices, which we can all appreciate and love. Thank you, CD Projekt Red. And so I think what the takeaway is from this is that they're going to do it right, and they're going to be happy with the game they put out and not have to do apologies like we see some other teams unfortunately have to do because of the situation that they're in with their publisher or the people who are kind of holding the purse strings to their development cycle. So does that mean that the game is going to be perfect? Of course not. Is the game going to still have problems? Probably. But it does make me more excited for this game and the potential success and quality of this game than some other major titles that are coming down the pipeline.
This reminds me of a silly story I just read not that long ago in IGN, and it was about Thane's romance in Mass Effect 2. And how I think it was Patrick Weeks. Am I saying his name right? He was
the writer.
The writer. And they were writing Thane's romance scene. Was it 2? It must have been 2. And
it was Mass Effect 2. I read the story this morning. I almost included it on the show notes, but it's so we would have had to get really in the weeds. So I was
really
like, let's just not.
There's this moment. Okay, Mass Effect 2 spoilers coming real quick. If you talking to Thane and he's telling you the story about how his wife was tragically murdered and his son, he's going through all this shit. And at the minute he's done telling you, my wife was murdered, I've never told anyone this story, one of your dialogue options is, I want you, Thane. And it's like, what? Like, that's so random and out of the blue, but that's how you kick off his romance scene, because what happened is Thane's writer had left and the game was due to come out very soon. And so it's kind of little things like that. So you're talking about, they can delay their game and they can make it as they want. That's an example of, a silly example and a fun example and a lighthearted example of what could happen. You might not be able to write the ideal romance, intro to romance, aka tell me about your dead wife, and I'm gonna suddenly be like, I want you. That's weird, but that was a time constraint.
It was.
Things happen.
It does. Things do happen. All right, Brittany, I think that's going to do it for us for today. Thank you to everybody who has joined us live in the chat. I did see a question from Jose, who's like, is this a random stream or the podcast? And this is the podcast. So if you guys are watching on YouTube or if you're listening in the podcast feed, you'll notice that we are now numbering all of these episodes. So you're like, why didn't we number them before? We have an announcement happening at the end of this week on the Friday show, which we are very excited about a new platform, a new partner that What's Good Games is coming to. And so look for those details. But because of the infrastructure of how we need to upload the show to this new place, we have to start numbering all of the episodes. So this is an episode of the podcast, sir.
Yeah.
But for now, we want to give Rihanna another big happy birthday. I see her in the chat. We are going to be streaming here at What's Good Games at 1 p.m. Pacific time. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. And we hope you enjoy the rest of your Memorial Day if you're here in the U.S. Or have a happy Monday, everybody. And we will see ya next time. Goodbye.